You are a champion. You are my champion. Hello and welcome back. It's been a minute since I've put together a long form video to post on the Carnivore Scott YouTube channel. And there are a number of reasons for the delay, and none of them are really any good. Suffice it to say, I've been struggling with YouTube. And there are, again, a number of reasons, the least of which is the level of effort one goes through to make one of these videos. Last night I was listening to Woodster72 talk about process or somewhat of the process. And someone had asked him about videos and did he ever watch his videos? And his response was spot on. And that was, yes, I watch them so much in my editing process that I am sick of them by the time I'm done. Well, I mean, tongue in cheek, but it's a true thing. The level of effort for a quality long form video is fairly substantial. Now, if you want to make one that, you don't really care about pregnant pauses, the ums, the ahs, the occasional sneeze, the dog barking, the doorbell going off, or whatever the demands of life might be. It could be that my phone, which right now is turned up to almost maximum ringer, it could go off. And then next thing you know, I'm in there trying to edit it out. Maybe I have to voice over. I mean, there's so many things that can go awry in a long form video. And then, of course, you're dealing with time factors. Certain videos do better at 9 minutes or 11 and a half. When you post them, then there's the thumbnail. There's all the other data points if you want to make chapters, and it goes on and on. So what this really means is hat tip to those of you who make the effort to make absolutely stunning videos. I'm not sure I'm there. I went out yesterday thinking I might buy Premiere Pro and get that Adobe 365. And then I had to pull myself back off of that and say, I'm not going to invest in YouTube until I get YouTube to a point where at least I can reasonably expect to get a return on my investment. So what does that leave me? It leaves me questioning, what is my ROI here on YouTube? Now, before anybody gets panicky or anything like that, I think I know it. Yet I'm still in discovery, opportunity and a chance to write things down as videos play on. I watch a lot of videos. I comment on a lot of videos. I give shout outs to folks who are doing a wonderful job. Now, some of them are at the highest of heights. If I'm shouting out Carrie at Homestead How, that's one who's done quite well. He's a tremendous asset to our community. My shout out from the valley here to the heights of Dr. Ken Berry and Sean Baker would be akin to spitting into a hurricane. Not very effectual. Not that my heart isn't into it, and not that what I say has no meaning or bearing. It's just that, not effectual, and I understand that. I like to make shout outs to some channels I follow that are on the way up. It's an amazing thing to catch that wave as it goes up. I like to give shout out to like Robert Bubba Baker and Colonel Stoic and his journey. Today he had a great video out there about not letting the negativity impact your day-to-day life. I also like to give one out to Chad at the Minimalist Carnivore. Tremendous quality in his videos. The topics are timely, the editing is smooth, the lighting is impeccable. Then we have Lisa's Blessed Life, and just yesterday she gave a shout out to me, and I have to admit, and I'll touch on this in a moment, but it was very timely, and I do believe it wasn't timely by happenstance or chance. Of course, Woodster, he's out there and making great content and walking around the track and reading things. So I'd like to give a shout out to Woodster and Karen's carnivore journey. Karen has bared her heart and her soul to the world. Her story is absolutely compelling as much as it is heart-wrenching, and yet she's standing up in the gap. She's going to bridge that gap of where she is now to where she wants to go. Broke my heart. I watched it and I celebrated. Remember the movie Truman? And Truman's getting ready to break out, and everybody is hollering, and there's a guy in the bathtub slapping his TV tray, and the people in the bar, and everybody's just so happy he's breaking out and overcoming this stronghold that's captured him. That's how I feel when I see these people overcoming and moving forward in what they're doing, you know. And there's just so many girls. Limitless Lindy, she's another, already achieved miraculous things, and then she puts out something great on dental care, and then people are asking things about dental care. And then you have stay strong, live long, sticking to it, working through the grind, getting things done. Shelley's Life 365, what a sweet person. So nice, so willing to share, so willing to give information from her N of one perspective, having achieved so much and unabashedly attacking and presenting topics that have really huge import to various people. Not everybody responds to the same topic. I get it. Of course, who can forget our keto cookout folks, right? And I'm just absolutely blown away by them and how they're so giving and caring, and how Russ is just such a funny guy. And he'll tell you, he's a stand-up comedian. He's done a lot of things. He's fearless in his humor. He's fearless in his journey. So I love giving the shout outs. And of course, my friend from down south, Carnivore Kip, again, another person walking the walk after talking the talk, bearing his soul and showing us things. And so I like to give the shout outs to these individuals. And would I give a shout out to Dr. Baker? Absolutely. Good on you, Dr. Baker. I think there was a time when Dr. Baker and I were stationed at the same air base at the same time. So again, and I haven't even listed all the people who have come into my life via this carnivore lifestyle. Of course, you got Bill Knott up in Alaska. Bill, I am praying for you and did pray for you publicly and for Alaska for the flooding. I know that's hard. It's hard on your brothers. I'm so thankful and give praise that you have brothers and family that care about you like they do, that came over and in your basement, standing in that water and reworking things for you. That is absolutely an amazing thing. And we should never overlook the value of our family, especially family as good as yours is. I also want to thank Keto Vagorian. I hope I got that right. You know what I'm trying to say. Cut me some slack, okay? I love your videos. I love your participation. And so the list goes on. And I'm looking at my phone to make sure that I can remember these things, you know. And then we have prayers that we lift for people, you know. And there's Susan out there that we're lifting prayers for her and her daughter and her granddaughter, right? There are prayers for surgeries, and we hear that those surgeries went well. There's just so many people. And then the Poco Moonshine family doing an interview with me next week. And of course, lest we forget, this coming weekend, we have the huge Carnathon going on for the fundraiser for the Carnivore documentary that Carrie is putting together. Actually, just so absolutely impactful, not just to us, not to just a few Americans, but worldwide. This is a huge thing. Yes, Susan Hampton. I wanted to say, prayers for her brother David, who's suffering from diabetes and stage 4 kidney disease. I mean, there's so many things here. Her granddaughter Xenia, just named like after the flower. I really have to start making more of my notes in the same book instead of multiple books. But it is what it is, and I am who I am, and I really can't do a lot more. And thank you and praise for Valencia and the success of Valencia's surgery. She had a melanoma removed there in North Carolina at the UNC Medical College. So there's so many things and reasons to celebrate what happens via YouTube. Yet I still have struggles with YouTube. And I struggle with some things that transpire. It's not like it isn't hard enough to try to your entire life through your diet modification and then all the things you have to contend with family. I mean, all of us are contending with our family for various things. Not everybody has a spouse that's on board with what you're doing, or even someone at home maybe a boyfriend or a girlfriend, people who look at us strange and they don't understand why we do what we do. And they are victim to the mass media corporate efforts to shape our thoughts and our beliefs. So, what does all this mean? Where am I going with this? I haven't done a lot of long form videos because I don't like the editing. And the truth be told, I had to write it down to make sure I have it right. The truth be told, and I'll admit it right here now, I don't want to put in the work. There, I said it. I want the instant gratification. Yeah, I do. I want to just wake up and my weight be where I want it to be, and my skin and my belly and my muscles and my health and all that goes along. I want it to be right. I want it to be where I want it to be. And know the fallacy of that. I'm fully aware of it. That's how I ended up being an overweight, obese, morbidly obese, over the hill guy. I say over the hill tongue in cheek. I'm 61. I know that's not old. It's, a lot of it's due right here. But right here is where I am struggling. I have struggles in my body just like everybody else. But the struggles are here. And they trickle down from here to here. And then they go from here out here. So yeah, I have to admit it. I want that instant gratification. I want to be where the other YouTubers are who have already built an audience and who are already monetized. Yeah. Yesterday was September 13th. It should be a red letter day in my calendar, but I almost just gave it up. I was going to do my nightly late show, the after party at Scotty's, and my wife was good with that. House was put down for the evening. Things were good and calm, and pulled the door there, closed behind me, and I was ready to go. And I was watching some other videos and just getting prepared for it, getting some material working through my mind. And it came time. I just shut it down. Just walked away from it. I went to bed. Wasn't having anything to do with it. As I went to bed, I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to chuck it. Almost 60 days into it, I'm going to chuck it. Just be another YouTube channel that fades away into the dusty bins of some storage device on some mega farm, data farm somewhere. And as would happen, I decided I would open my phone up and just take a look and see what's going on. And of course, if you're a YouTuber, you go to your YouTube app and you look to see what's going on. And there was a little notification. And I said, what's going on here? And there was a very nice, concise message from Lisa's Blessed Life, where she gave me a shout out. And I opened it and I listened to it. And it was very nice. And I was set in my place. See, I wasn't remembering my whys. And I think our whys can be more than just one thing. Our whys can be so much more than I want to be around for a long time for my grandchildren. I want to be able to do physical excursions and go exploring places with my wife. All the different things that you could have for a why. And I had forgotten them and let them be swept away by the casual events of life. I think in between all the little high points and low points in our lives, all the area there is much greater than the sum of those points in time. If you put all the banner days you had, maybe it's graduating high school, college, marriage, birth of children, accomplishment at a job, maybe it's your salvation day, all those things. You can put them all into one basket, and they don't actually amount to a lot of physical real time. Very impactful. I got it. But the days in between are so much more. So I think that's why they say the devil's in the details. Why other people may say, if you take care of the small things, the big things will take care of themselves. Well, it's the same thing, I suspect, with our understanding of where we are on our timeline and in the accomplishment of our goals. And maybe that's the point where dreams are quashed. I think dreams die in that sense of mediocrity, or in that set time in between the highs and lows. I mean, you could even put lows together with the highs and still not come close to the number of the hours that are in your life that are just, they're all right. I mean, they're not great, they're not low, you know. And we have a lot of that time. And that's the place, that's the boneyard of dreams. And I almost let my dreams go there because I fell victim to one of the oldest mental gyrations there is. And it goes like this. It's not what I think. It's not what you think. But it's what I think you think about me. If you think about that. If you take that and you put that in your mind, you run that tape a couple times. How many times have people assumed what you were thinking or what you were saying or what you were feeling? They come into a room, they look at you, and they automatically assume something. And we know all about assumption, what assume can mean, how it's broken down into cute little sayings there, right? But we do it ourselves. We assume because a person didn't say hello, a person didn't acknowledge you, and particularly here in the YouTube verse. If someone comes into a channel and they don't get a hello, or they don't get greeted by people in the channel, or someone else is getting greeted, or someone else does this, or someone else does that, you can take whatever you want out of it. But we end up getting our egos hurt. So there's a whole dissertation in that alone. When we allow this mind trick, I don't want to call it a Jedi mind trick, but when we allow our minds to tell us that we've become less important because we didn't get a response. When you open up your phone and you don't see, if you're going to do YouTube, you're going to get monetized. Do you think Dr. Barry can say hello and craft a message for millions of viewers, tens of thousands on a video, each video? Of course not. And neither can any of us. And so that brings you back to, do you remember your whys? Are your whys in the forefront of your mind? Are you focused? And are you allowing your life to be lived at the high points and the low points, and forgetting to live in that proverbial dash in between? I've heard it said, life is lived between the two numbers on your headstone. Your life is the dash. We take that idea and you look at it in the viewpoint of your day-to-day, the highs and lows, and you say, hey, look, I had a lot of time during those highs and lows. What did I allow to happen in my life? And there I was last night in that moment, in that crux where I was going to chuck it all in. I was spared. And it wasn't by my own doing. It was at the hands of someone else who sent a blessing my way, which helped me to remember that this isn't just about me, that this carnivore way of life, this journey, isn't just about me, that I have friends and acquaintances and people that matter. And they mattered before I ever came on the scene, and they're going to matter long after I'm not on the scene. Regardless if I'm on YouTube or I do Facebook or any social media platform, you all matter. And you matter more than how I perceive it by far. So in all of this, I had to say, I had to remember, I had to again write it down. I got to remember my why. And my whys modify and they change with time. My initial why, I detested the way my belly fat hurt, came over my pants into my belt buckle, and then I needed to tuck in a shirt or a t-shirt so it wouldn't hurt. Here's a novel idea. How about I celebrate what works? We talk about it all the time, and I talk about non-scale victories all the time, and they're piling up. I'm wearing a shirt that I bought 4 or 5 years ago. Still haven't ironed it, but I bought this shirt 4 or 5 years ago, and it stopped fitting. Now it fits. Great. One of my belts is on its last loop hole. Great. Things are going better. I feel better, much less inflammation. Absolutely fantastic. But a new why has crept into my life. And that's the relationships I'm building here on YouTube in the carnivore community. I'm going to have to explore, I have to think about it, I'm going to have to pray about it, about these relationships. But I can absolutely, unequivocally state that you all matter to me. That when I go out to my application, my YouTube studio, I do cherish your comments and your likes. When I comment on your videos, I do like to watch your videos. If I'm going to watch all the different videos that I put out each day, I want to watch Carnivore Kips. I want to see him exercising and walking and running light pole to light pole. I want to watch semi-retired Bob walking in his neighborhood, telling us about the 1% thing and getting prepared to go to Texas and his big adventure there. I want to watch JT and the Poco Moonshine and his view on things in life and the way he interacts with people. I want to watch Limitless Lindy talk about the freedoms and getting outside. And so many other Rachel, I like to watch hers, and she talks about things and how she's eating and going over to her dad's for a barbecue and her massage therapy business, right? There's just so many. There's Adam and there's Chad and there's Aaliyah and there's Russ and there's so many more. There's Mike Shaw TV and there's Susan and the list goes on and on. I want to see, I want to interact, I want to wrap myself up in it. And at the same time, just as Woodster was conveying to us in his first live, and again, congratulations, Woodster, for passing that 1,000 threshold. Now we got to carry you on to getting you 4,000 watch hours. But in watching his video and his live, it was, hey, I can't be here all the time. I've got my 2 children. Woodster has 2 children. He's got a 1-year-old and I want to say a 3-year-old, give or take, and a wife and a job, a life. He has nephews and brothers. Can't be all things to all people. We can't let YouTube take over our lives. But by the same token, I freely admit it matters to me. You matter to me. And I do cherish the relationships that are being built. So this is not a Debbie Downer video. This is not me crying in the proverbial Wheaties that I don't eat anymore. Oh, by the way, just as another aside, I am down to almost to 275 pounds. IS 316. Getting close to 275. Yes, I ate at a buffet last night and I enjoyed it. And I ate all meat except a little serving of green beans. And there wasn't much to those green beans, okay? They even had pork fat in them, so pshaw. But yeah, I'm just saying that there's this balance that needs to be struck, a level of effort that must be maintained. So this is not a Debbie Downer, and I apologize to any Debbies out there. Okay, it's just the way the word works. I'm not depressed, I'm not angry, I'm not upset. But I do caution each one of us. Maybe it's a cautionary tale. Remember that you spend the majority of your life in between the highs and the lows. And how we manage that, how we manage our expectations of that time, I believe is critical. I don't want that time between the highs and the lows, the 2 dates, to be the place where our dreams go to die. Instead, I'd rather look at it as a place and a time to rejuvenate, to reflect, to focus, and renew ourselves. That when we get to the highs, we can tamper it down knowing, hey, it's not always like this. And when we get to the lows, we can pick ourselves up because we have a reservoir, that we haven't burnt the candle at both ends. To find ourselves one day hollow and empty and burned out without the relationships around our family and our community. So together, all of us can celebrate victories we are having, these important victories, not just over our weight, not just over our physical condition, not just over our medical improvements, but in the fact that we've created a community that cares. So with that, I'll let you go. I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't think I have been able to adequately articulate how much I care, but I really do. And I sincerely hope each one of you are blessed today, and that as you go out into the times between the highs and the lows, that maybe one thing that was said here will catch in your mind, and that your heart will be lifted, and that you'll remember that you are cared for, that you are needed, you are necessary, You are a champion. You're my champion. And that it's just so wonderful to realize that it's worth it. Take care. God bless. I'll see you all around.